Hello there, and this is the book Nobody Hugs a Cactus. Now, when I'm teaching this in my classroom, I would go over this is the spine of the book, this is the title of the book, and I go over this is the author of the book, Carter Goodrich. We would talk about this is this is the dust cover and what a dust cover does, and that some people like to keep the dust cover on the books and some people like to take it off the books, and I would name teachers in my center that like it either way. And we would go over what a dedication is. And I'd read the dedication to them for Sabrina, who so bravely supplies this cactus with hugs. And we would talk that who's Sabrina? We would take a guess at who's Sabrina. Maybe it's his daughter. And what it would mean that she bravely supplies this cactus with hugs. We go over this is the title page. I'd read the title again. Nobody Hugs a Cactus. And this is the author, Carter Goodrich. And if there was an illustrator, I would go over who was illustrating it. It doesn't seem to have an illustrator on our title page. And then we would I'd read the text to them about Hank, who lived in a pot. And we'll talk about, the setting. Where does it look like? Is this a jungle? Is this a forest? Is this a desert? Does this look like where we live? Does this look like someplace close to where we live? I live and teach in a place that actually has cactus. So we may talk about, we don't touch cactuses, or we don't want to touch a cactus. We would go on to the text on the next page, and we would probably talk about, Rosie the tumbleweed. Well, what is a tumbleweed? Have we seen a tumbleweed? And, what is interrupting? Is it nice to interrupt? Sometimes do we have to interrupt? Well, we do have to interrupt if one of our friends are hurt, but it isn't nice to interrupt in the middle of a story. If we have to say something, we raise our hands and we wait to be called on. Or if we have to go to the bathroom, in my classroom we use a potty sign, which is, we use, I believe what it is sign language for restroom. I don't want to show it because I'll probably do it wrong, and I don't want to be giving out misinformation here. We will go on to the next page. Well, where do we think Rosie's going? And why is Hank happy? And then we go on the next page, read the text. We talk about, have we seen a tortoise? What's the difference between a tortoise and a turtle? And then, we'll talk about what private property is. Because Hank yells out, private property, keep out. And we'll probably talk at this point about it's not nice to go into someone else's yard without permission. And we would just continue discussing. The tortoise and what is a jackrabbit? Have we seen a jackrabbit? Some of my kids probably have seen a jackrabbit. And we would talk about, Hank doesn't seem happy at this point in the book. And why isn't Hank happy? Why is the tortoise still there? And through all this, I would be sure to be enthusiastic and using different voices. Like Hank, I'd probably have a little bit more deeper, "No dogs allowed." And the Coyote being very sarcastic, "I'm not a dog, and you are as prickly on the inside as you are on the outside." Making sure it's very entertaining. Children love voices. Then we talk about the cowboy and how this cowboy would look very different than when my kids see a cowboy. My kids have gone to rodeos. There's a rodeo in our town every year. We go on and we talk about, well, the lizard. And at this point we talk, well, why doesn't anyone want to give Hank a hug? Because at this point, I think the kids get that Hank probably does want to be hugged, but no one wants to hug Hank. He pretends he doesn't want to be hugged, but no one wants to hug Hank. He's a cactus, and they're afraid he's going to hurt when he gets hugged. And, we talk about now, well, Hank's even offering to hug the owl. And the owl doesn't want one. The owl flies away because he doesn't want to hug Hank. And then we go on, Hank is feeling more sad than prickly at this point. And maybe he's willing to admit he wants a hug. And we talk about why he wants a hug. Well, everyone likes to be hugged sometimes. We don't like to be hugged all the time. Some people like being hugged more than others, but sometimes we want a hug and we like it. And oh no, Hank has a problem. How are we going to solve this problem? Well, Rosie came back. Rosie the tumbleweed came back. And Rosie's willing to try to get it off. And Hank's very thankful. And we talk about, well, why is Hank thankful? He decided to grow a flower. And we talk about, well, why would he want to grow a flower? And this is all after I've read the text to them. So they're given the answers. And I do my best to make sure any question I ask that the answers have been given to them. And as he waited for Rosie to pass by. Oh, and Rosie does come back. And he gives Rosie the flower. Oh, and Rosie gave Hank a hug. And it felt nice. And Hank liked it. And he didn't want to let go. But he couldn't, because they become stuck together. But they didn't care. And we would talk about then, well, why do they like being stuck together? Well, Hank's a little prickly, but so is Rosie. She's a tumbleweed. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps you in your classroom.